everybody. So today I'm going to go through two of my favorite things that I did for my team when I was a manager. And then I'm going to read a couple of stories for you and give some feedback. One of the things that I want to talk about, and I thought I had them in my desk, but I can't. I don't know where they are. But I had prayer cards, and anybody could come into my office at any time if they were struggling or whatever reason. I never asked unless they wanted to say, but they could request a prayer card. And so I would fan them out and then hand them face down. They would pull the prayer card and they would read the verse that was on it or the prayer, whatever it was. And then we would talk about it if they wanted to, or they would take it, whatever they wanted to do. I had people that didn't really do church, they weren't Christian. And it was never forced. It was something that I had in my drawer that people knew about. It was shared by word of mouth. You had to come to me and ask for it. It was never offered. But people found comfort in it. It's one of those things, I can say weirdly enough, they always lined up with whatever was going on. To me, that's what was meant to be. You're given what you're needed at the time. He's always watching and he's ready, but not everybody believes in that, and that's okay. At the end of the day, we're all good people and I care about everybody. And so that was something that I always shared. And I actually had, when I left the job, a couple of my team gave me unopened boxes of prayer cards to take with me. And so those are cool. And I have those in my bedroom. And sometimes I'll read through them. And then also, I can't reach it. And if any of them are watching, I still have not read all of them. But one of the things that my team gave me, and this tells me that they paid attention and that what you tell your team matters. They're mermaid wishes, and they're all of their positive and encouraging words for me. And so when I have a bad day, I take it out and I read a few, and I shove them to the bottom and try to stir some new ones up to the top. But this is something that we did often, right? If I had an open closed door policy, which meant if you are having a bad day, you can come in. My door's open as long as I'm not in a meeting, and you can come in and close the door and talk to me. You can come in and close the door, cry. I'll ignore you. There were a couple of times where people just needed a quiet place to process whatever was going on. I had one team member who had lost his grandparent, and he just needed to kind of process, but he didn't want anybody talking to him. So they came into my office, they sat in the corner, they dealt with it. I kept working. I look up from time to time. You okay? Do you need anything? Is there anything I can do for you? But sometimes people just need a minute. Like, we're all human, right? And if they're constantly taking and pushing and you don't give them a minute to process. Now, I will admit that I was the boss that if you come to me and you're all upset because somebody texted you bad news while you were at your desk, well, you weren't supposed to be at your phone, so you wouldn't have got the bad news. I did say that a couple of times. I'm not ashamed of it because the person at the other end of the line isn't going to pay your bills. And if they are, then you don't need the job and go home, right? But we have to be able to separate ourselves because you still have to do the job. I got up the morning my grandfather passed away. I couldn't tell my kids. I texted my boss and I texted one of my coworkers and I said, this happened. Nobody needs to mention it. I'm okay right now, but I haven't been able to tell the kids. And so I can't fall apart. Like, I have to keep it together. I have to tell them, and then we move on. And they respected it. And I worked the full day. I had one small breakdown at the end of the day, and that was my boss's fault because as I was leaving, he came over and he gave me a hug, and I lost it because I knew as soon as I was thinking about what happened. But I got through the whole day. I've had some people that have needed to go home, and I get that. We all handle things differently, but sometimes you just need a minute, you get up, and then you go on with the day. I had other people that would come in and they would vent about their mom, their kid, their spouse, their mother-in-law, their neighbor, whatever. Somebody cut them off on the way to work this morning. You know what? Scream it out and then get on the floor. If you need a minute to pull yourself together, then do it. But at the same time, if you can't pull yourself together, I need you to be respectful of my time, and I need you to be respectful of your time, because if you can't pull it together, you're not productive. You need to go home, you need to process, deal with whatever you're dealing with, and then come back with a clear head. And there were a couple of times where I had to send people home because they weren't moving on. And as empathetic as I am, at the same time, I cannot pay somebody to sit at their desk and do nothing. So it's a conversation, it's a mutual respect, it's an understanding of this is why we have to do it this way, and this is what we're going to do to remedy it. And the reason why we could do that in my department was because of the mutual respect back and forth. They respected my time, and they wanted to be able to perform for me, and they wanted to be able to produce for me. One of the biggest things that I knew it, but that was very evident: when people want to work for you, they're gonna fight. They're gonna work harder. I stayed at a toxic job as long as I did because my team worked so hard for me. So in turn, I worked hard for them. And that's the mutual respect. I fought for their raises. I fought for their time off. I fought for them because when I went to my boss and I said, you need to give John Doe this raise because he has done this, 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 and this. And it's one of those things where I can lift people up or I can tear them down, and then they never grow. They never move forward. And that's not a productive department. You don't want people that feel small, that feel like they can't do any better. No, I want my team to yearn to outrank me. I wanted my people to strive to be my boss. And I still want that for all of them. And I need to reach out more. I've been in my own headspace, but I still care about all of them, and I still think about all of them every day. And I appreciate them, and I appreciate how hard they worked for me. And so if you are a boss, have that policy, have that open door policy, and let people talk to you and talk to them like people. Okay, I'm still learning how to segue, but let's go into a story. This comes from r/work advice, from Federal Albatross 993. It says, my coworkers disagree with everything I say. Been there. I have two coworkers, we'll call them A and B, who disagree with every single thing that I say. There's been several times where the three of us will have a Zoom call to discuss a project, and I'll give a suggestion or an idea. Coworker A will say something along the lines of, I disagree, I think we should do this. And then she'll just repeat everything I said. Then coworker B will jump in and say, yeah, I agree with coworker A. That seems like the right idea. There was even one time where coworker B was talking about how she took a vacation for her birthday to Tampa. I'm in Tampa. Not knowing that's my hometown, and she told us she had so much fun. When I announced excitedly that I grew up there, she started talking about all the issues she had while she was there. They raised you. It must be a problem place. I get that all the time. It's honestly really exhausting. I'm grateful that I work from home so I don't have to meet with these two coworkers very often, but I still want advice on how to deal with situations like this. How do I deal with coworkers who constantly disagree with or counter everything I say? Honestly, I I have had this situation. I did have a manager who, which we were the same level. We were both managers. Um, Everything I said was wrong. I could literally be like, the sky is blue and you're a queen. And she'd be like, no, I am a duchess, or some crap like that, right? So, and she used to talk down to me all the time. So, my two things, I don't know what they were, but my two tactics were one, I would have other people pitch ideas to her all the time. They were on my side. I would say, hey, I need you to tell so and so this. Can you let so and so know this? Or, per big boss, we're doing this. And so I would text the big boss and be like, hey, this was your idea. We're going to do this. This is why, blah, blah, blah. And so then they would come in and say, hey, we're doing this. And they'd be like, this is such a great idea. Because I learned early on that it was more important to me to have an efficient company and an efficient department than to be right. And so I basically just went around her and went straight to the boss and said, we need to do A, B because of C, or don't do this because of this. And at the end of the day, made my life easier. I didn't have to deal with the animosity. And then the other thing I did is when I did have to talk to her, it was never a one-on-one conversation. It was always a public conversation. I always did it in group chats and I always did it very respectfully. And the reason I did it that way was to protect myself as well, because I would get berated all the time and record and screenshot everything. And once they know they're being watched and once they know that they're not getting away with it, or sometimes you just let them pretend like they're getting away with it and you know that you're pulling the strings in the background. At the end of the day, it's the job that matters. If it's affecting your day to day and you're not able to do one of those workarounds, then you need to have a conversation with a superior and just say, I don't feel that my contributions are making a difference to this team. Could we have a conversation as to either why and how I can improve things, or maybe my time would be better put on another project? Or just go around them, send everything in emails, stop having Zoom meetings, have a conversation. Hey, I was talking to so and so, and CC everybody. Have the trail, because they can only re-quote it so many times before people start to come on. But if you don't have that trail and you're not protecting yourself and you're not CYA, cover your ASS, then you're just complacent. So if you want people to know that it's your opinion, have a paper trail. Per the conversation we had, I really liked so-and-so's modification of my original idea. Let's move forward with this. Recap everything in an email. But either work around them and get to the right idea, or at the end of the day, if it's okay and they're still going with your idea and the credit doesn't matter, play it against them. You know what? I didn't think of it that way. Now that you say it that way, totally makes sense. Just turn it back around. Don't let them know they're getting to you, or look for a change. Either way, you can do either one. The top comment here says, give them bad suggestions, knowing they'll take them. That is a petty thing. However, just depends on how much it affects your job. If it doesn't affect your job and you can still do the right thing, then whatever. But at the end of the day, you don't want to make your job harder or more difficult. So just take that in mind, because if you're giving them bad suggestions and they're going with them and then it makes your job harder, that defeats the purpose. But if you can find a way to either give yourself credit or have a paper trail or something, that's what I would do. So this one says, just start negging them. Say something like, I'm surprised you like Tampa. It's more for pretty people. OP replied, OMG, crying face. That's funny. I'd get petty with them and suggest the opposite of what you want to happen. They'll shut that down and go with what you want. That's another option. Or when they come with the exactly the idea you came up with first, disagree wholeheartedly with them and say you wish you'd thought of that. Fake a smile, radical acceptance. You don't really care. This is along the same ideas. You don't really care what they think of you, so agree enthusiastically to whatever they argue. It'll minimize your interactions. And OP said, good idea. So that's basically what I said. Like, if it doesn't matter who gets credit for the way you do it, if they're still going to do it your way, then just say, oh, that's so great. Thank you. And move on. I love people. I love when people think they're doing something bad or good, whatever. All right. We're going to go to the next one. I apologize if I'm talking too fast. I have that issue, but I'll work on it. This one is also from Work Advice from Raging Piranha. Incoming boss is a bully. How do I stop the bully on day one? It says, as the title says, a new manager is joining my team. She is a known bully. She uses incessant messaging to harass people, and she gets very jealous of her team members get recognition. You cannot be better than her. Do I know this person? 4 people on her previous team quit, and now she's coming to my team. I am well regarded for my work and get good assignments. She has already started with never-ending texts to prioritize her work at odd hours of the day and while I'm in meetings. What can I do to nip the bullying in the bud? HR is crap, so can't go there. Senior managers don't care. Ignore. Respond during work hours. Don't make her a priority. Don't change your work. If you're well regarded and you already have your actions and you already have your tasks, just keep going. Like, if it's an issue, don't ever be in a one-on-one chat. Only do public chats. If she's texting you, reply in an email per your text, and then just CC whoever you need to CC. If nothing else, they'll get annoyed. Or she'll be tired of being called out, because if she's texting you one-on-one, she doesn't want everybody else to know that she's saying these things, if I'm being honest with you. And yeah, I agree with this one. Top comment, all you can do is be a strict professional. Make clear from the very beginning what you can and cannot do and control your own workflow. Never say no, but you can say not yet. I like that. Let them set priorities, then your job is to tell them how long it will take. Never overpromise, always underpromise and overdeliver. Never let anyone run you ragged. You control what you can and cannot do. Never let anyone take that from you. Be clear and be respectful. Good luck. I really like this comment. Because at the end of the day, bullies get away with being bullies because they create reactions. They cause people to freak out. My ex was famous for tempered speak, to the point where he would get me so frustrated and I would get upset, and he would be like, well, I'm not raising my voice. It's not necessarily raising your voice, but bullies know how to get under your skin. Like, it's almost like an art for them. Like, they look for the weaknesses, they look for what is going to bother them. They poke, they pick. That she's already wearing you down. She's already trying to bully you into your time. She's already like, oh, if I just annoy the crap out of him, I can get what I want because he'll be over it. Don't let it bug you. I was very clear when I was a supervisor that I had off time. Like, there were times where I would reach out to my team, or, I would go out of the way, or I would talk to my boss. But like, if you text me after hours and it's not like an emergency, which in that job there really wasn't an emergency unless the building was literally burning down, but I was just I'm going to have this work-life balance. Like, I don't know what it's going to look like all the time, and I don't know if it's always going to be perfect, but we're going to figure it out, right? So I'm going to have time where I'm off, where I'm not answering my phone. And you have to. If she's already trying to push that boundary, she's trying to wear you down. She's trying to get you to the point where you can't tell her no because you just want her to leave you alone. That's what she wants. Don't let her. Create your boundaries, stick to your boundaries, and just stay professional. Yes, ma'am. No, ma'am. Everything in writing. Stick to emails. Don't cave. Set boundaries, set limits, give expectations, give realistic expectations. If you know that something she's asking you for is going to take 10 business hours, tell her 12, tell her 15. Give yourself a cushion. Life happens. Crap happens. You're not going to hit every single deadline, especially if you have stacked projects. So like they said, under promise, over deliver every time, and set your boundaries. Let her know professionally, of course, that you won't tolerate her antics. And if she keeps it up, you'll have to turn off notifications from her. And as far as priorities, just keep doing what you're doing no matter what she says. Also, document everything. And then they put option 2. Malicious compliance. She interrupts meetings. Make sure people in the meetings know this is her MO. Drop everything for assignments, no problem. Nothing else gets done until her stuff gets done. And let everyone know you were ordered by her to do so. Let the problem solve itself. I have done this in some situations. And it can work as long as it's not fully disrupting your workflow. And I say that because there were a couple of times where I would do a malicious compliance, but behind the scenes, I was doing it the correct way, right? Because I didn't want to make my life harder, but I needed them to see the struggle, okay? So just make sure you're not making more work for yourself unless you enjoy it. If for you're having fun, you love coding or whatever it is you do, and you could do it for 12 hours a day and you're getting paid for it, then do it. But if it's going to make your job harder, just be respectful, set parameters, and set boundaries, and just be very communicative. And that's all you need to do. Everything else will work itself out. All right, let's see. So I think that's it for today. I appreciate you guys. If you have any questions or comments or anything, share below. Again, please like and subscribe. We're still growing. And I'm excited about all the things that we have coming up. Please see the other posts for the daily acts that I want to do and different things like that. And I hope everybody has a great day and a great weekend, and be good. Have a great one.